Hi, Bob.
Hi, DJ.
What's going on?
Well, just chilling here at home.
Got a lot of wood in your house.
There is. Yeah, that's where I like to keep it.
In all, like all the wood?
Well, as much as I can. Enough to keep my roof up.
Gotcha. Yeah, a roof is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's Trisha.
Hi, Tricia.
Hi. I also have wood in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you? Yep.
Right. So, Bob, did you share the show?
I did.
Oh, I don't think I did.
I shared it. I don't know if there's going to be anybody. I don't know anybody who watches it, even though I have friends like, oh, I gotta watch it, and like nobody does.
Nobody watches. We need to give stuff away, and since Trisha and I are cleaning out our house, I have stuff that I can give away, like literally give it away. I don't want any, like these things right here. I will give those away.
Oh, okay.
What things?
The things right behind my head here, the Doctor Who VHS tapes.
What?
They're classic.
That's crazy. Who wouldn't want that?
Right? Well, we have a viewer.
Hi, viewer.
Viewer! Viewer, you can win these VHS tapes if you can answer one simple question. And the question you can answer will be in the Q&A section. Oh, hey, I know who the viewer is. Viewer, if you can answer this question, you can win Doctor Who DVDs. Doctor Who VHSs. The question is what, Bob?
The question is, in the 27th episode of Classic Doctor Who, what was your favorite color? Wait.
Well, that's a pretty easy one because I think they were in black and white then, so you got a 50-50 chance.
Right.
Oh, gray.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I'm not good at coming up with questions. That's not true. I come up with good questions all the time.
You can always have the people guess where I am.
Where are you? Where? I guess where Trisha is. That's what Dan, our viewer, needs to guess to win these Doctor Who DVDs. I gotta stop saying DVDs. Dan says the answer is 42.
Well, he's right. The answer is 42.
Right.
I don't know if it matches the question, though.
Well, he wins at least one of these VHS tapes.
Good answer.
If only we would have kept the stuff that would have played them, because you probably need to give that stuff away with them so somebody can actually watch them.
I believe Dan can fashion a VHS player out of some string and a couple of
Hello.
paper. So I believe Dan can play these.
So here's my new toy that I got.
What the Jesus is that?
It's just one of those things that like goes around your wrist, and then
Slap
you can throw
bracelet.
it.
Oh, it's a slap bracelet.
It's a slap bracelet, but it's also like it's designed to where it's for throwing. So like depending on how you throw it. Did something happen?
Well, why do you throw your slap bracelet? I guess is my question.
Why wouldn't you? It's like
I would have to go get it.
Yeah, it allows you to. I mean, that's what it has. It came with a little book that shows you that if you throw it this way, it does one thing, so it'll curve or go straight, or so it's kind of like a toy that you wear.
Or it's a weapon that you wear.
Right.
Yeah. Good thinking.
Dan
Yeah.
asks, the real question is, what is 9 times 9?
I know that one.
Toothbrush.
Toothbrush. What is 9 times 9, Trisha?
81.
81.
What?
Toothbrush.
That's not my phone. I didn't know that. I don't have that many fingers. Damn it.
Well, I think you can get to
You,
21.
Parker, you should need to leave them on.
The way I count.
Oh, my non-earpod shaped ear.
Tricia is at the Capitol.
Hi.
So, Dan, you win a second VHS tape.
I am at the Capitol.
In fact, I'm going to go get all the VHS tapes to show Dan what he can win.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
You're just going to make a bigger mess in the house because you
That's-
never
I'll just leave it.
clean up anything that you keep organizing and cleaning out.
Hey, that's not very fair. You're making a mess, too.
I'm getting rid of stuff. You're just piling stuff in boxes in alternate locations of the house.
I'm going to pile my wife in a box in an alternate location in the house. What do you mean?
Oh, that's probably too tiny though.
Hello.
Dan, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy
That
is
one is an 18-month to adult.
Dude, I could almost quote that to you.
In fact, why don't you quote it to him?
It would, like, not right now, of course, because, well, I'm busy. That is
No one,
definitely one of my favorites, though.
no one wants to see you on a video show on the internet reading.
In fact, I had a large copy of the it's the big book of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
It comes off
and I had a
towards the
copy of
back.
it, and I was always quoting things out of the book. So somebody said that I should take that as my Bible. So I wrote on there in big letters, my most holy, no, what was it? My most excellent unholy Bible was written on my copy of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I think Dan, you can get a string. You're not.
No.
You're not.
A string?
That's what he asked. He asked, can he get a string? Because I said that he can fashion a VHS player out of string and some paper clips.
Really wanted that one, or
Oh my.
Yes, brain. Yeah, see, I have this particular copy. And this is not the first one I've bought.
I'm just gonna put it right here.
Do you want a mini now? I'm trying on this hat.
That's weird.
Come here.
Oh my land.
I borrowed them and
Say hi to DJ.
never returned them.
Hi,
Wait, who's that? Hi.
this is Jenny from Unisys. Remember?
Oh, hi. Hi. You're on the internet right now.
Hi, Jenny.
Live podcast.
Oh,
So you guys are on live podcast
Oh.
right now
hi.
Hi.
I was live treating you.
with our friend
Good.
from Indiana.
Oh, good. You're from Indiana.
All right,
Like,
we have a
what
guest.
did I do? Great.
Yeah, we do a podcast every Sunday at noon, and
Oh.
since I'm up here, they called me in. And yeah. Anyways, okay, I'll let you guys go back to your thing, and I'll put you on mute.
Okay. Okay.
That was cool. That was like social interaction.
Social interaction.
Yeah.
And Dan is still on about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I mean, like we care.
Yeah, I mean, once you got the book memorized, and I probably read this whole thing maybe 4 times.
Hey,
What?
I thought it was more like 10.
Yes.
You want to see Guardians of the Galaxy today at 7?
I totally want to see Guardians of the Galaxy today at 7. However,
Not gonna happen.
I live far away. Unfortunately, right now, they've got so many movies that are coming out right now that I want to see. It's like, you can't afford to go to the movie theaters to see all these movies.
I have a rule, and this is how my rule works. And then we once in a while. Well, let's start with the rule. The rule is, I will not go see a movie on a big screen that does not have an enormous amount of special effects, because that is where you should see awesome special effects for the first time.
Right.
Now, the other thing is I will go see all the Marvel movies in not the Marvel Studios movies like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe proper in the theater. So since Guardians of the Galaxy fits into that, that is why I would be going to that.
What about the Ninja Turtles movie that's getting ready to come out?
It's not high on my list. I would have gone to it had Guardians not been out so quickly. So basically, I have my slate of movies that I would go see, and I'll actually go see Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice in the theater also because that should have a butt ton of special effects.
That's just bigotry.
My wife says I have to unfriend you
What? Why?
due to the whole not watching Ninja Turtles thing. She says that we have to like cut off our relationship and no longer be friends.
Not
Now, wait a second. Hold on.
What if he promises to watch it once it comes out on DVD? Is that okay?
No.
It-
My home.
She said I will not tolerate that bigotry in my home.
It's not that I'm not going to see it. It's that I'm not going to see it in the theater because it came out too close to Guardians of the Galaxy.
She's just shaking her head.
I will be if
I'll
not
screw this over for you, man.
if I won't be renting it on iTunes, I will be getting it other ways. I'm going to see it. It just won't be in the theater.
It looks pretty good. No, we just here not too long ago have seen the new Transformers movie. We are going to be going to the drive-in this year. Yes, we still have a drive-in.
I would love to drive in
We have 3 drive-ins that are around here.
because I would totally make out with my wife at a drive-in in the back seat.
Right.
Our first date.
Our first date was at the drive-in, mine and my wife here, and both the boys were with us too, but they were a lot smaller than, and not nearly as much as a pain in the asses.
It was exciting.
Spider-Man 2 on our first date, and technically, I think, see, our first date lasted for years because we had a date. I just never left. So,
This is our second date.
Huh?
This is our second.
oh, she's saying that this is our second date right now.
Still.
Still.
Wait, so you're married for your second date?
Yeah, pretty much. Because what happened is we went on a date, and then I never left. So that it just kept going. And then I don't remember at what point that date ended. Then.
Hasn't ended yet. The first date ended. You went home that night.
Oh yeah, that night I went home, and then the second night I stayed. So this is like, yeah.
You are kind of like a disease. Then she caught you, and now she can't get rid of you because she doesn't have the right medication.
Right. Yeah. Kind of like a Pokemon. Gotta catch them all, or just one. Me.
Just you.
I'm legendary.
You're adorable.
I'm adorable, she says.
You are adorable, Bob.
So is Dog.
Shush. Yeah, this. It's the boy. He wants to be on this so bad that he's hovering over my shoulder and he can't wait for any chance to just say something.
How old is he?
How old are you? 14.
14.
He's 14.
He can be on the show when he's 18.
18.
So on our
And it is.
82nd anniversary, he will be ready to be on
As a guest for half an episode.
a half hour of an episode.
A half hour of the episode.
By that time, we'll actually be doing the show for 12 hours in a stretch.
And getting paid for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we don't do this for free. In fact, it's time to plug the sponsors. Apple TV. This is the only thing I have to show you for Apple TV.
Nice. That's one of our future sponsors.
No, there's a current sponsor, Apple
Oh.
TV.
Nice.
They're not paying us yet. I'm kind of roping them into it, hopefully.
So here's that thing that I bought.
Yeah?
Not only can you wear it and throw it, but it also works great to block out the child who comes walking in behind you. What's that? Oh, wow.
It's,
Nice.
it's one of the 5 greatest kung fu classic movies ever.
Wow.
Would you like to see 3 of the other ones?
What's the other three?
Okay, here's another one.
He's Warrior of Shaolin. Huh.
And then these other two I have VHSs of, although I have one of them in my iTunes. I would like to try to figure out how to turn the other VHS into a video so that I can have it on my, so I can get rid of the VHS tapes. Here's this one.
Evil Masters. Nice.
Yeah. This is also known as The Master. This is probably the first Kung Fu movie I can remember seeing.
Wow.
As a result, it's very awesome. And then here's Kid with the Golden Arm.
I might have watched that with you.
It's possible. In fact, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I would have gotten these two actual tapes. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I had these when we were hanging out, but I think I got those much later. Maybe. Yes, there are 5 Kung Fu movies classically that I consider great enough to own. That would be the 5 Deadly Venoms, the Avenging Warriors of Shaolin, the Heroes of Shaolin, which I did not show you, Kid with the Golden Arm, and the 3 Evil Masters.
Cool. Cool. You know, I'm going to have to check those out because the people who like those types of movies love those types of movies. And I want to give them a shot again. It's been a while since I've seen any of those.
And then, of course, I like most of the new fangled Kung Fu movies. Like the first one I consider of the new is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And then Hero with Jet Li and The Matrix. The Golden Flower one I didn't really like. The House of Flying Daggers was okay.
Now, they say that those were the Crouching Tiger. Wasn't that the one that was supposed to be a joke and it was like the Japanese were laughing at us for even liking it, but yet that's the one that was like really, really popular here in the States? Where they were running across the water and fighting in the trees and all this stuff.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is the 4th book in a 5-book pentology, which is where I get the word pentology from. It is the Iron Crane pentology, and I would be very interested if they would convert the other 4 books into movies so that I know the entire story. However, I will be satisfied with just the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I guess the reason the other 4 aren't converted is Crouching Tiger was the only one of the 5 that did not have an ending that made you go, well, that was...
Right. This chair sucks. I think what happens is, you know how on the bottom of chairs they have those little metal pieces so it slides on the floor and stuff?
Right.
It slides on the floor so much that it wears down the steel. And so you shut up. Hi. So until it has just like a piece of like the nail that holds it up in there is now coming out of the bottom of the chair. And that's where I'm at sometimes, is just having this nail coming out. Now, a nail sticking out of the bottom of a chair on these types of floors leaves a hole in the floor and very difficult to move it.
Just going to Warsaw, not Portland.
Just Warsaw?
Just Warsaw. I don't want to make long.
So you're not doing the Nook thing? Okay. Good news, family's leaving. The bad news is the family's leaving.
The family's coming back, you mean?
Well, yeah, and the family's coming back. I tried to tell her yesterday. It's like, how the hell can I miss you if you don't fucking go away?
Right? Well, and when she says the family's coming back, what needs to happen is after she says that, there needs to be some sort of dramatic music. The family's coming back. Dun, dun, dun!
And this time, it's for good. There's an explosion in the background.
Everything should have an explosion in the background. This glass right now, while I'm drinking it, should explode right into my face.
Yeah, spit take.
The family's bringing.
I love you too, hon. I'll see you later.
I don't care if I say this on the air because I want to do it sometime. Bob, I want to film a scene where, let's just say, there's 2 guys drinking at a table in a bar. Okay, so I'm drinking across from you, and the camera can really only see, the back 3/4. Anyway, this hot chick comes in, and what I'll do is while I'm drinking and she comes in, I do a spit take, hosing you down completely. Take another drink and spit again. So basically, I'm saying that it was so awesome that happened that I had to reload.
Yeah, like I totally wasn't expecting the first one, but the second one, wow, that was a really big surprise.
So I've always wanted to do that, and I can be the one that has the spit take done on me too. But I mean, it needs to be filmed, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what's popping in my head: is not only should you have a person doing that, but you should have multiple people doing that. Like as the door opens and everybody comes walking in, almost like the "Lend Me Your Ears" thing from Men in Tights, and they all throw their ears at him, and he's like, "That's disgusting." Robin Hood.
I don't think I've seen Men in Tights.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that kind of really surprises me a whole bunches. Do I look kung fu-ish with this?
A little bit.
It kind of hurts because it's digging into my temples.
Yeah, you would look more kung fu if your lips did not match what the words were coming out of your mouth.
Ooh, good call. I don't know how to do that though.
Actually, you're doing it right now.
Really?
Oh, now you're saying, damn it.
I was on the Titanic. I sink a lot.
Well, I'm waiting for Titanic 2, the sequel.
The real story.
No, the sequel. Like, that the DiCaprio comes back to life and starts murdering people on another ship or something.
Oh yeah, Ghost Ship. Or the the sequel will be like the boat like floating down to the bottom of the ocean, and that's it. Like the entire movie is just that, like from different angles and stuff.
You have to have the human story in there, Bob. So it'll be that one person that couldn't get out while the water's rising, and they're trying to get out, but of course they get trapped in the last compartment with the last little pocket of air that will eventually run out. It'll be a sad.
Good thing I locked myself in this airtight little closet with a box of Twinkies, and then die slowly of no air. So there's something else I was going to say. Oh, I wanted to ask you about something.
What's that, Bob?
On our last show, we had mentioned not only were we doing on our phones the the game of Ingress using your satellite to find like portals, but we were also talking about the geocaching.
Yes.
Have you guys done any of that?
We have done some geocaching. I believe we found 2, but we have failed far more than we have found.
You couldn't find? Yeah, I spent probably about a half hour yesterday looking for one, and I couldn't find it. And me and I even went over and I got the kid, and I brought the kid over, and we're looking all over for it. And I checked in the notes, and somebody posted like an hour before that. Or no, a day. It said 1 day, 1D. Found it. It took me 15 minutes. Totally. It was like they found it yesterday, and yet I cannot find this thing. But
what I'm discovering is that the geocaching game is not nearly as fun as Ingress, for instance.
Right. Once you find it, you cannot keep finding it.
I did come up with a concept for a phone-based game that I would like to make if I could figure out how to make it work. Ooh. So, like Ingress, you have to physically go to places to do things. So now you.
I think I'll hang up because I'm getting busy.
Okay. Bye.
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 Okay. So you have to physically go places to tap into, let's just say, elemental energy, just for the sake of naming it something.
Mm-hmm.
While you're walking around, the phone will be keeping track of where you're at, because that's what it's designed to do, is basically, monitor your geographical location. And when you get close to somebody else who is also playing the game, you can choose, if you would like, to use the elemental energy that you stored up to combat them with your little magical powers
Ooh,
on the phone.
nice.
Which will, get more social interaction going on. And I think that I would not want to do factions like Ingress does, because what I've noticed is that everybody that's in my faction in town here is fairly level-headed, and everybody that's in the other faction acts like a 4-year-old.
You know what? That is crazy that you say that. We had the same problem with the. I was playing World of Warcraft for a while, and it was the same thing there. On the Horde, the bad guys, everybody was acting one way, and the other guys, they all acted like 14-year-old kids. Like, I think it's because they looked more human. Humans were one of the ones that were on the good side. And it was no big deal to see them, like, they would make a female character, strip all the clothes off, and just go running around naked. Because it's literally a 14-year-old boy somewhere. And they all have that sort of, like, mentality of that. It was a great game. I don't play it no more. Too expensive. Too much time. I like the idea, dude. Now, would it be a... check this. Let's say elemental. So you have, say, water elemental. You collect a whole bunch of it. You can use one as a defense. So now, okay, here's this other guy. He's fire. You can use your, you can use your water against him. But if you have an element on you, that would be protection towards you. The protection would be weak against other things. Obviously, water would be strong against fire.
Well, I mean, we could do that. The other thing I was toying with ID, I just grabbed elements. I mean, basically it was just generic magic when I thought about it, but like technological-based magic or something like that. But what I had thought of, now that you're talking about that, would be more of a Magic the Gathering approach, where, like, blue or water would be more of a healing type thing, and red would be more of an attack type thing. Every element would have its attack and defense stuff going on, but you would be able to, know early on, I need a lot of blue because I get mashed around a bit. Let's see. Dan has a good question. Wouldn't this game be kind of sucky if there's nobody in the area playing the game at the same time you are? Just
well,
like... Go ahead.
You'd still be able to go around and pick up element. You'd be able to. It'd be a treasure hunt up until that point.
Yes.
So you're building your forces, building your forces, building your forces, and then when you meet somebody, if you were meeting somebody every hour, you wouldn't be able to build up your forces.
And the other thing is just like Ingress, if you're the only one in your area, like Bob, it is kind of boring because there's nobody else to combat with, and there's no portals to go to. So yes, I guess it could be boring, but I mean, there's also those people that want to be out in the middle of nowhere. They want to sit on their red fountain, which I'm saying is instead of portal, to suck up all the red energy they can to fire maybe long distance. Maybe if you get such a build-up, you can actually shoot long distances.
Yeah, nice.
Now, I have an Apple. I'm recording this right now on an iMac. I have an iPhone, which everybody should know. I have an iPad Mini, a MacBook. It's just a Mac, not a Pro. So I could technically download the programming language and create an iPhone app Now, I don't know how to program anything for Android, so I mean, it would be an iPhone-only thing if I'm doing it by myself. But then again, I don't know how to do any of this, so I would have to teach myself, basically.
Yeah, dude, it's got a lot of potential. I mean, if you were to say pick up let's say a red elementally thing, and you're able to like poof, like you can hit the person next to you. But if you have like more of it, you can throw it at that guy over there. If you have more of it, you'd be able to like either get it further or a burst. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And an interaction. I don't think it should be battling, but more of an interaction. Do you want to heal this person? Do you want to like?
And I chose battle because that's the easiest thing for people to latch on to. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be an internationally giant-sized game of Clue. Where Clue you're technically competing against each other, but you can also trade information to both benefit.
Yeah.
Sure, you might know that Colonel Mustard used the lead pipe, but you don't know what damn room it's in. And somebody else might know that it was the lead pipe in the conservatory, but they don't have any idea who used it. If you could talk, both win.
It's probably O.J. Simpson.
I just told you Colonel Mustard.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, O.J. had a knife. I got my facts.
The knife in the white Bronco. Oh my Lanta. Hey, I came up with a bunch of alternative swear words that I'm going to start using on a more regular basis.
Really? Well, let's hear what you got.
Well, instead of oh my god, I've been saying oh my Lanta.
Okay.
Now, I say that mainly because of Steve Glosson, who has the Great Geek Out Loud podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So he's Southern. It sounds better when he says it, but I've been saying it a lot. Oh, hang on a second. Maybe if you had NPCs, computer-generated opponents, to battle, that would probably fill the gap. It could.
Not bad, Dan. And yeah, or just things to interact with in the world. You know, like your portals in here. I mean, if you had like things to interact with, different effects. Let's say you get close to a church and you can heal.
Ooh.
Huh?
Yeah. On a side note, there should be an app coming out soon called Run an Empire, and what you do is you run in a circle / square / whatever. So basically, you run in a shape, and when you connect the end from where you started to where you ended, which would be the same place, you claim that area, and that becomes your empire. So let's say, and the more you include that particular, let's say I run around the block and I turn it green. Okay, that's my empire, the block. Now, if I extend it out, include my block that I've already claimed, and grab 2 or 3 more blocks in there, that strengthens the original block, but gives me the other 3. So basically, what I would want to do is spiral all the way out, and this is designed to be, there's a combat thing going on. Let's say I claim my block and I go to bed, and I wake up and I discover that somebody else has claimed my block as part of the 4 block thing. Well, I want to get my block back, so I might walk around the block, grab it, and then walk around a whole bunch of other stuff to grab part of theirs and strengthen mine, and that's how that worked. But if you look up Run an Empire, it should take you to either the Kickstarter, which was fully funded, or the company's name that makes the app. It's not out yet. I really want it to be out because it encourages you to get off your ass and do stuff, which is the problem I see with the opposing team here in Ingress, that if you can't drive to it, which that's really all they do ever, that they don't play. I was describing something before I got off on before we
Swear
answered.
words.
What? Well, swear word. Okay, so there's Oh My Lanta.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I've used it at work quite a bit. Like somebody will say something like, "Oh my Lanta," and somebody will giggle because they think it's Hilarious. Now, yesterday, I actually invented a brand new one, or I finally came up with this swap. I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about assholes, like a lot of assholes. Like, you have to deal with assholes all the time. Actually, you deal with anthills all the time. Lots of anthills.
Anthills.
Anthills. Now, it's as close as you can get without, I mean, I didn't want to incorporate ass or hole. I wanted to do something different. Now, I'm still working on improving that one. But there's also fire truck. And it starts with an F and ends with an ire truck. You can guess what that. You can also use funk or folk.
You know one of my favorites for there, and I was actually just looking that up. Did you ever watch the show Eureka?
Yes.
Fargo in that show used the word frack.
That's
Awesome.
from Battlestar Galactica.
And he'd say things like frack me, and I mean it's just like he used it a lot. Now, what I looked up here is the on this it's got frag. It's a common swear word. You can use it as fraggin', whatever. Dreck is excrement. So instead of bullshit, you'd say bull dreck, dreck for brains. This site right here is from a role-playing game, Shadowrun. Now, in the Shadowrun handbook, when it's talking, people are talking, and while they're talking, they're using bad words. You know that they're bad words, but it's like, what the hell? And you kind of get the meaning of them by the way they're using them, but it's based in the future. And this is kind of a glossary of slang, Shadowrun slang. So they have a whole bunch of...
I used to play Shadowrun, and I don't remember that, but I'm trying to use words that catch people off guard. So that, like if you're telling me a story and instead of saying shut the fuck up, I want to say shut the front door. That catches people off guard.
Yeah, right.
And a friend that I worked with, also his only thing that he would say was instead of shit, he would say shoebox. Shoebox. Which works in a lot of cases, although I like to use shipwreck because I am a sailor.
Right. And, you don't really want to offend any shoeboxes out there. You know how things are today. You can't say anything without offending somebody. So, poor shoeboxes out there are like, they're making fun of me.
Right.
That hurts my feelings.
And then from a commercial I saw, or a parody of something, instead of motherfucker, you use monkey fighting. So, I'm tired of these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday through Friday plane. Which kind of works, but I don't want to use Monday through Friday, so it's monkey fighting.
I did like the Monday through Friday. That sounded good.
Well, what kind of folk music is that? That didn't really work. Shipwreck. Fire truck.
Shipwreck was a fire truck.
Yeah. G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, yeah.
And I'm sure you will agree with this, he was the coolest G.I. Joe.
I watched that very little. I was so against G.I. Joe because I was a kid when I was a very young kid when the cartoon was out, and my brother loved it. So in order for him to watch that, he would turn off whatever it was that I was watching, and so I was hating the show, not because I hated the show, but I hated the show because my brother turned off what I was watching to watch the show.
You say young kid, yet you're older than I am by like a couple of months, and I clearly remember not only watching it by choice, but enjoying it immensely. In fact, what I noticed is if I go back and think about all the cartoons I used to like, there's a pattern. There's G.I. Joe, there's Transformers, Visionaries, Centurions, Mask, which is Mobile Armored Strike Command, not the stupid green mask thing that Jim Carrey was in.
I had some of the Mask cars. Those were awesome.
He-Man, the Masters of the Universe. Well, and here's the connecting thing to all of these. They all were toy companies trying to sell me stuff. But more to the point is that they had code names. Everybody had code names, and every episode brought in like using Mask, for instance. Mask never had the same cast of characters for every episode, so the computer would, determine what was going on with the Venom people, which is the evil guys, and then would randomly call up the people with the best skills to counteract that. So it was let's assemble the team that best suits the situation.
Nice.
G.I. Joe was kind of that way too, but they didn't, it's like, hey, Shipwreck and Beachhead and Roadblock are standing here. I think I'll take them out. Okay, it's great. Okay, oh, look, now Snake Eyes, the Indian dude, and Portobello Mushroom. We're all hanging out here in the G.I. Joe headquarters, and General Spandex wants us to go out, so let's go out.
I was a big fan of the Thundercats.
Thundercats is another one. I was not as big a fan of Thundercats as the other stuff, but I did like Thundercats.
I was a Thundercats fan out of necessity, I believe. There was a time in the morning when I would be watching TV while getting ready for school, and as soon as Thundercats ended, I would grab my book bag and head out the door. That was my time to catch the bus show. So I mean, it's like, if that wasn't on, I would have had no idea when to leave the house. But you leave when Thundercats ended. But I did like I was always big on the cartoons that it didn't really have didn't really have a story line. Like, I don't know, Smurfs and Inspector Gadget, more of the kidsy type ones instead of the littler kids instead of the bigger kids.
So you were more into the MacGuffin of the week, which technically my shows were too, but there was a larger story technically going on.
Yeah, I mean, like, those other ones are there's a lot bigger background to it. There's more people in the world. Mine was if somebody fell down, I would laugh, and that was great. You know what I'm saying? It was like more of a small humor instead of like the big storyline. I don't think I could focus this big. I was okay with, like, if something funny happened, it was great. I didn't need to see the whole story, and then, like, but I had my attention span was very, very small.
And now saying all this makes me remember things that people probably didn't see that I really enjoyed too, like Dinosaucers. Have you ever heard of the Dinosaucers?
I don't remember that one.
It was like dinosaurs that had evolved into humanoid-shaped dinosaurs, and if they got into combat with the evil dinosaurs, they could hit a button and evolve into their larger former forms. So if the Triceratops evolution guy, he's in battle with the pterodactyl, who the pterodactyl evil guy slaps his button and becomes the actual large, gigantic pterodactyl, the Triceratops guy can hit his button and turn into a giant Triceratops.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I was also a big fan of the Hanna-Barbera superheroes, like the Herculoids, Space Ghost, Teen Force.
Again, I was a fan of necessity. Hanna-Barbera was a Sunday thing. Early Sunday, there'd be some like other cartoons on, and then they would go to where all of a sudden all the cartoons would go away. There was nothing to watch. You'd have this religious crap on every once in a while, but there'd be like there's no cartoons except for the faithful Hanna-Barbera. They'd be off one of those side channels that you never watched except for on Sunday morning. Yeah.
I like the Herculoids and Space Ghosts and Teen Force so much that I would really like to get the rights to those to make some sort of comic or story or cartoon or something of them. But, like with everything else, I will probably not get the rights because I'm sure they're going to over ask for how much. So what I would do is create analogs of them to make my own stories. So, but the problem is that the Herculoids would be really hard to make analogs of since they're kind of particular.
You know, now that I think of it, the shows that I watched, just because if I didn't watch, I'd be stuck watching religious stuff on TV. Hanna-Barbera, I guess, has saved my life. I was saved by Hanna-Barbera. If it wasn't for Hanna-Barbera, who knows what kind of a person I'd be right now. Probably like, I would have been forced to watch stuff that totally altered my mind and brainwashed me into other stuff. And
you might be raping furniture right now.
I might be, yeah. That's kind of scary.
That couch has it coming, and it looks sexy. Wait a second. Yeah, sexy couch.
So I put up on Facebook again. I'm trying to make an attempt to sell my motorcycle again.
Dun dun dun.
Yep. I got a Harley Davidson motorcycle that is I'm attempting to get rid of because I have a new Harley Davidson motorcycle.
I bet Dan wants it. Dan, do you want his Harley Davidson?
It's good for you.
It is good for you. It's nutritious too. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Hey, something popped up on Facebook. Let's check that out. Oh, just somebody liking my status.
There's very good status. Which one's that?
It was the if you okay this first I'll explain what the status is, not verbatim, but I'll explain what the status is and then I'll explain why I put the status up. The status is if you really don't like something that you're complaining about all the time in public places like social media, what you're doing is making that thing that you hate more popular. So by complaining about it, making pictures about it that mock it, and parodying it in every way, shape, and form, you are actually making that thing more popular. If you truly hate something, ignore it. Ignore it.
Yes. If anybody does not believe DJ when he says this, look at Miley Cyrus. Everybody was so annoyed with her that they made her so freaking popular. Everybody was saying her name on a daily basis. Way to go, guys. You just totally took her from where she was. And you put her
up is the people that hate the Twilight movies. They continuously talk about the Twilight movies. They continuously complain about sparkly vampires. They continuously talk about Stephenie Meyer. They talk about how stupid Kristen Stewart is. How they hate Robert Pattinson. How the movie sucked. It was a terrible adaptation. Not that the source material is great. Blah 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 blah.
This movie sucks. I've watched it thousands of times, and I've hated it each and every time.
You're just making that thing more popular. If you really, truly hate Twilight, then you would ignore it. You would stop talking about it right now.
You know, that's how everything works. Morgan Freeman was actually quoted as saying how that's why there's still racism, is because people keep talking about racism. Fucking drop it. It goes away.
I'm Morgan Freeman.
You're not.
That's my Morgan.
He's got an awesome voice.
He does have an awesome voice.
I would like to hire him just to read something. Ooh, to come to my house and read me one book. That's it.
The Hitchhiker's Guide by Douglas Adams.
How much you charge to come read me a story? And when he tells me, I'll be like, awesome. Here you go. Now, I would hate to be the person to bankrupt him. The world would hate me. As he's spending the next year reading the movies that wouldn't be made because he's reading this to me.
Right?
It'd be totally worth it for me.
Absolutely. We watched the movie Lucy recently. Have you seen Lucy yet?
Yes, I have. What'd you think?
I'm glad I went to it. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, but it was good.
Exactly. None of it was what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting something to happen there at the end. That just went different than what I thought it would. Can we spoil? Are we spoilers here?
Let's spoil the bejesus out of Lucy.
I'm trying not to see that as a strange metaphor. Oh come on, that would have been a perfect time for a spit take. Anyways,
I don't want to turn on my monitor, man.
when she went back in time,
Yes.
I thought that contact right there, bam, she puts the information into humans, and we already have it. Bam. That's what I thought was going to happen. She said that I'm going to turn into a computer that's going to give you the information and a way for you to read it. And I was expecting that touch back there in the very first human was the idea of putting it into the computer that you can read. Bam, you now have the information.
I took that as her giving the spark of, basically that's the first point where evolution starts happening, like super evolution, like to get us to where we're at now. That's the way I took that.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's just that I thought that was going to be like once that touch happened, now we all understand all the things that she was. Yeah, I did like it.
We also recently watched Transcendence. Have you seen that one?
No.
That's the one with Johnny Depp where he gets basically put into a computer.
Oh, nice.
That one also was not what I was expecting. It wasn't bad. I wouldn't see it again.
Now, I read here recently that human beings do use almost all of their brain, but not all at once. That like this part over here is for math, and this part over here is for creativity, and this part over here, that we do use most of our brain. We only use tiny pieces at a time.
Where the people you hear about that are freakishly smart or freakishly this or freakishly that, they're the ones utilizing more than 10% at one time. Yes. So it's not that. I mean, if I could access everything going on in here all at the same time, I would be a little kooky compared to the rest of you.
And you did see the guy on Stanley Superhuman who does math? Did you see the math guy on Superhuman? Do you have Superhuman? I mean, have you seen any of those? Stanley has a TV show, Stanley's Superhumans. And in this TV show, they go around and they find people who have, like, insane, almost super abilities. And this guy can do math at the speed of thought. They went to a college, and they had all the professors out there, and they had their calculators, and they're saying, okay, you take this number times this number with this blah, 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 blah. That number right there is now your new 0. Now, with this, and they start throwing out these numbers, this times this times this, and he's able to just speak it. And he was, not only did he have to think less about it, not only did he, as it was getting more and more complicated, he was getting faster. Everybody else was using calculators, and they couldn't keep up with them. Well, they did a brain scan on him, and they found out why. Because the part of your brain that does math, right next to it is the part of your brain that controls your reflexes. His were in the same spot. So he does math as a reflex.
I want telepathy. Not telepathy, telekinesis. That's what I want.
Telekinesis would be cool.
If you were watching something and a character has telekinesis, there's a good chance that that's the villain.
Really?
Think of all the characters in all the shows that use telekinesis, and then compare how many of those how many of those are villains.
Okay, let's see here. Now, Jean Grey, she goes back and forth between villain and hero.
Well, there are exceptions.
The chick in Misfits, she was able to use telekinesis. So was...
Wait, Which chicken?
Sorry, not Misfits. Misfits of Science. It's the older one.
But there is a villain version of Courtney Cox.
Oh. I forgot that's who that was. Awesome.
In the show No Ordinary Family, it's about a family who got superpowers. The villain was, well, somebody working for the ultimate villain had telekinesis. Sylar from Heroes.
Ooh,
Primary
yeah.
power, telekinesis.
Yeah, I like Sylar.
Sylar's cool.
I was a little upset by that series. I loved it, and at the same time, there was so much about it that really bothered me. I mean, it's like they would build it up, and then they would have to find a way to bring it down because they went too far, and they would build it up, and then have to drop back down again.
Well, season 1 was a gigantic mystery that got solved at the end, is what happened. And what the creators of the show thought was, that's how we keep going. So they went and created another gigantic mystery, and what they learned was that people weren't as interested in it because we didn't want that again. We wanted to continue from where we left off. So that's why season 2 didn't quite turn out the way season 1 did. And then season 3, they were like, hey, let's give this another shot. Let's try doing this, that, and the other thing, and they flipped it again. But when they went back, when they did with the circus thing, that what to me was interesting. So I mean, I
That
think
was really cool.
they redeemed.
They gave Sylar a lot of powers that they forgot that they gave him. There's no doubt in my mind they just forgot about it.
I guarantee that's what happened, because when you've got a power collector, what you do is you latch on to the ones you really like, and then you stop using the other ones.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they did. They did things like he picked up the insane hearing of this girl who was able to hear bugs walking around in the next room. And it wasn't long after that he's standing over here and they're whispering over here and he doesn't hear them. And it's like, but he picked up her hearing. Or the ability to change metal into liquid, and then later on he's trapped in something and they can't figure out how to get out. It's like, dude, you have the power to liquefy this. You don't forget that you have stuff like that.
Or what about the cryokinesis, where you can freeze stuff? So if I've got telekinesis and cryokinesis, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to knock the bejesus out of anything that has water. I'm going to crystallize that water instantly, and I'm going to telekinetically throw it at you at like millions of little ice daggers, and I'm going to kill you, and all the weapons are going to melt.
Nice.
So nobody can find me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff Tyler should have been able to do continuously, but he forgot it.
The fact that he was able to pick up a power without killing somebody, and then he goes back to killing them anyways.
It's because they wanted to do the whole, it's not him, it's the power that's causing him to do that. See, that was wrong, because the whole thing that made Sylar cool in the first place was that he just wanted to be unique. And when he
wasn't a bad guy. He did what he had to do.
Yeah, and when he got the ability to do it without killing people is when he should have stopped, because he's not interested in the murder. He's interested in the power collection.
But they did the same thing with Peter. Peter Petrelli was also a power collector. He originally had no powers at all other than to use other people's powers. And he would get a collection of these powers just by contact or near contact. I don't even know if he had to touch anybody.
His was
away from him.
His was empathic. He had to feel what the other person felt to use their power. So
He had that, and then it was taken away from him. They like sucked it all out of him, and now he can only use one power at a time, which was, that bothered me. It's like, wait a minute, this guy was like, he's cool as hell. Now, I don't know, do you remember when that show was out, that those guys were showing up in commercials and like, they were everywhere.
There is actually a reboot in the works.
Nice.
What they should have done, and what I'm hoping they do with the new series, and they had announced that this was their original intent, was you have season 1, gigantic storyline. If they wanted to reboot the storyline, this is how to do season 2. Season 1, you get these people's stories, you build up to the crescendo, boom, it's over. Season 2, you are introduced to a whole new set, a complete and total new set of power-wielding individuals with their own mystery to solve themselves.
So those guys are over there. That's taken care of.
The season 1 ended with Peter Petrelli flying up in the air with his brother, which I don't remember the name of the guys, and then what?
Nathan was the brother.
Yeah, so Nathan flies Peter up in the air, and Peter explodes. Now, that should have been the end of their story. We should have thought that there was a reasonable doubt that Sylar was dead, and there's no reason to go talk to Hero anymore. There's no reason to talk to what's his face with the telepathy. Yeah, we've done with these people. Okay, we move on.
That'd be a good way.
In season 2, we meet there's a big mystery where this guy is he seems to be immortal, and there's this girl that's got muscle memory, like literal muscle memory, and there's our frozen ice water princess lady. She can because changing one person's power without any explanation whatsoever really ticked me off too.
They did a lot there. It's almost like they all evolved to the next step. They were all like freaking Pokemon, where they had a power, and then the next logical step is it goes to this power. So they still have this one, and now they have this one. And each season they like added, they've leveled up.
Well, no, like the mom that had the split personality, one was super strong, and then she was not when she was in control. That she became the icy water lady.
No, 2 different people. They were triplets.
Okay, well then maybe I'm confused. But
they killed. The mother got killed, and then there's the ice chick shows up, and the son freaked out because it's like, oh my gosh, you're my mom. No, I have no idea who you are. It turns out that there was the ice one was another one, and that somewhere out there was another one, and I don't believe they found her yet.
And they should have, but they should have gone from one set of characters to the next set of characters because they had intended to do that in the first place. Slowly weed out half the original cast in season 2, and then season 3 is half of season 2's cast, but none of season 1's. So, kind of advance it there so there's some connectivity going on. That would have been far more interesting. Plus, it would have allowed you to go, okay, Peter Petrelli and Sylar are way too powerful to be in the same season now from here on out. So let's just, we've de-introduced those guys. Their story has been told. Now we've got Adam Monroe, the immortal guy. Okay, he's got to a point where he's superpowered. Let's put him off to the side. And then we've got Arthur Petrelli, who I wasn't very happy with his power.
Yeah. I mean, he sucked. He literally sucked the power from the other guys. The one that I did not like was I loved Hero's concept, his story, his power. He was a great guy. He was awesome. I liked Hero. It was weird that they all of a sudden both
Ando?
Them, yes. The Mexican chick and her brother. There was a bunch of people who could not, from other countries, who came into America, and now they speak English. The Mexican chick couldn't speak English. She was trying to get help from people, and she could not speak English until she came to America, and now she speaks English. And the same thing with Hero. They came here, and now they can speak English. It was all subtitled. Hero had very, very choppy English at one point, and he spent a whole bunch of time with that chick in the past, Charlie, in the diner. But they just got to that point where, okay, now I speak really good English. What the fuck is this? Now, my thing about Hero, though, okay, I gotta say this. Sorry to interrupt you. But with Hero, I was really hoping for something, and it didn't happen. He grew up with these stories of this hero from the past. Then he ends up in the past. And I was really hoping that his actions created, like, I wanted him to be the hero.
And that's the way it should have been.
Yeah, to where he is the hero that he hears about when he's a kid to make him the person that he is, allowing him to be a hero in the past.
Here's the other thing that really torqued me off. They got their powers from this eclipse. Okay. So
I was going to mention.
where did the parents in this original photograph get all their powers from? Another eclipse? Okay, so we've got that layer going on. There's the company, but then there's the Pinehurst, which is a company that's battling the company, but the company never worries about Pinehurst until season 2.
The paper company.
And then you've got powered people from before the original. So where did this start? When does this start? Because Adam Monroe,
Exactly.
being in the past, being the hero that Hero created, basically, is he the first one? I mean, you keep undoing all the things you've set up to that point to tell a new story, and that it's very annoying.
They very much made it sound like the eclipse was the cause in the
Right.
very first season. And yeah, exactly. Then all of a sudden they start going with other things. It's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Either this was the cause. So what it turns out is you show the eclipse, you go through the series, and it turns out that the only reason they looked at the eclipse is because the cameraman happened to notice it at the time. So here he is looking at the story like, oh look, an eclipse. It had nothing to do with the story at all. Nothing.
Right.
Camera guy, well, he just noticed it. That's all.
Which
Now-
is why when I'm writing a story that's where people all of a sudden gain superpowers, I'm making it very clear that this person is patient zero. There is nobody earlier than this. No one can. There's no old guy that's going to pop up. Oh, I've had this power for years. No, that does not exist. This is where it starts. Period. End of story. No more.
The only way that could work is if it was a different origin story, such as you find something in a history book saying, like, okay, and you would have to do that right in the beginning. I've developed superpowers. Why? Now I'm going to start researching. Well, in 1950s, this guy had superpowers. He developed them this way, and this is how he was killed. In the 1800s, this is something that happened, and there were some people who had, they called it magic back then, but it was basically the same thing, created from this. So if you put it at that point, if you miss that window, that opportunity to put in the past stuff in that window, you lost it and it's gone.
And you have to be careful with your secret society, secret company, secret people working on, because the company is not going to ignore Pinehurst if Pinehurst is that annoying. Because all of a sudden they said, oh, they've destroyed the company. Now what are we going to do? Wait a second. Why did we just find out about this 15 minutes ago? Why am I a Muppet lolling around like someone's controlling my hands?
Yes, it was the paper company. I did like the guy with the horn glasses. I can't think of his name. He's like one of the main characters in the thing.
Noah Bennett.
Huh?
Noah Bennett.
Bennett. Yes. He was the biggest asshole, awesomest hero. Now he's kind of a dick. Now he's just doing what his role was changing the entire time I was watching that. It's like he's a villain. He's a good guy. He's a villainous good guy. He was all over the damn, but they all were. At any given time, they were all heroes or bad guys.
We were watching a drama about people with superpowers that was based off of professional wrestling.
Super soaps.
Right. Hey,
Soap
Bob.
operas that are what?
We're over the hour, man.
What?
I know.
I think we are.
We are over the hour. See, we started an hour and 9 minutes ago.
Okay, one Mad Lib.
All right, one method. Then we're going to go.
Okay. Dubba dubba dubba.
Dabba, dabba, dabba.
Dubba dubba dubba. Dubba dubba dubba. Dubba dubba dubba.
Adjective.
Adjective. Sparkly.
I need to type a place. I'm going to go with the Washington Monument. Person. Well, it says person and room, so we're going to need a proper name.
John Wayne.
Good. Take off the funny hat with the buckle, Pilgrim.
But did I not be Pilgrim no more?
Right. Verb ending in ing. Fucking. Noun.
Kansas City.
Adjective. Soiled. Part of the body, plural.
Ooh. Teeth.
Teeth. And I need part of the body, and I'm going to go with sphincter. I don't know how to spell sphincter. Oh, wait, there it is. Sphincter. Adjective.
Loudly.
Loudly.
Is that an adjective?
That's probably an adverb, but I'm leaving it. Number.
After I said that, I was like, wait a minute.
The number I'm choosing is infinity.
Ooh.
Adjective.
Adjective. Green.
Adverb. And I'm going to go with quietly. Number.
42. That's for you, Dan.
Yeah. I need an adjective, and I'm going to go with cantankerous. Part of the body.
Belly button.
I need a plural noun, and I'm going to go with scarabs. Part of the body.
Tail. This will be great because not everybody has a tail.
Right. And I'm going to give this one to you. Adverb.
I don't know. Quickly. We already did quickly, didn't we?
Yeah, let's do swimmingly. How about that?
Swimmingly? Is that? Can you do that? Okay.
And then now I need an adjective, and I think this is the last one.
Adjective. Let's see. I'll use green. I'll use sparkly. Let's go with cold.
All right. The latest dance craze. Have you heard about the sparkly dance craze sweeping the Washington Monument? It's called the John Wayne. Slip on your fucking shoes. Turn up the speakers on your iKansas City, and let's master the moves that put soiled dance on the map. Place your hands on your teeth. Stomp your sphincter and strike a loudly pose. Take infinity green steps to the left. Spin quietly, then take 42 cantankerous steps to the right. Throw your belly button into the air and sway your scarabs from side to side. For the big finish, stick out your tail and wiggle it swimmingly. Repeat all of these cold steps until the song is over.
Wow.
You're going to have a hard time taking infinity steps.
I was going to say, after you're done taking infinity steps that way, take 42 that way. That's great.
Yeah. Okay, Bob. So next week, Bob, we're gonna broadcast from the Beulah Centennial.
Really?
It's the 100th anniversary of the place that both Tricia and I are from.
Wow. I know
Right.
that my cousin's going to be around next weekend, so I'm going to try. He's here from Florida, so I should take an hour or so out.
If you can't do it, that's fine. I mean, we've canceled last second anyway. Before.
Yeah, we've canceled quite a few.
Yeah, we should be on episode. Well, we should be well into the. We should probably be on episode 100 by now. But I'm not sure.
I do enjoy doing this. I really do. I enjoy getting together whenever we can and doing this.
At some point in the future, what I would like to do is get you up to the same technological level as I, so that if I have to cancel, for instance, you can still have a show.
Yes, I do. I have on my iPod right now. Not on my iPod. That would be something entirely different. I have on my. Somebody Skyped me while I was. Looking.
That sounds sexual.
It is. The list. Open and closing. Dallas. I have 2 shows. One of them is finished in an MP3 version of us playing, not us as in you and me, but me and 2 other friends of mine playing the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. It is not made to online yet, but I have it recorded. The second show that we did is basically a list of games that we're wanting to play. And DJ, I do want you to play some of these games with us.
Yes.
This is something that we were talking about, like the any of the White Wolf type stuff, which you are. I don't know if you consider an expert, but I mean you know your shit when it comes to this stuff. So definitely that. But we made a list of all the games that we want to play, and did I tell you what our name is going to be on the show?
No, what's it gonna be?
Should I tell you on the line, or should I wait till we're off?
I don't know. Do you want it to be a secret?
At least until we start, I think, just so that it's not, hey, let's do that. So we'll okay. So I'll tell you about that once we're off here. But I'm looking forward to it.
Thank Dan for joining us for the entire viewing of the episode. I'm sure he stopped paying attention like 45 minutes ago.
42.
42
Dan,
minutes.
you rock.
He does rock sometimes. Bob, with any luck, I'll see you next week.
All right, man. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.